Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart. I'm joined today with Marco D'Angelo, also known as Marco in Vegas. And we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics. Why? Because I am a situational bettor myself. So Marco is going to kind of teach you guys a little bit about situational handicapping, what it is.
Yeah, situational handicapping, first off, I want to say we do use stats. You know, a lot of people say, well, you don't look at stats. You do have to look at stats. But unlike other people, I don't make stats my final answer. I want other pieces of the puzzle because, Kelly, this is the thing that I feel about stats. You have them, I have them, but you know what? The books have them too. So if everybody's looking at all the same data, it makes it tougher to find those edges, and you got to have something else in your arsenal. You do got to use stats so that you know the team is capable of doing what you need them to do, but they're not going to do that every single week. And that's the problem with only using stats. It's an average of every game that they've played. Well, that's fine. They're not machines, though. These are human beings. They don't perform at the same level every week. You know, we've all had jobs. Have you gone to your job every single day and give 100%? Or do you mail it in sometimes? It's the same way with athletes. You're going to find those spots, and the trick is trying to find them.
I love it. So how do we tell these guys when to bet on a team or when to go against a team?
All right, well, some of the things that I like to look at is I have angles that I'll go for, and one of my favorite ones for predicting flat spots is I like to use in baseball, basketball, and hockey because these are sports that are played daily. So you're going to get, you know, baseball, you'll get a game almost every day. You know, basketball and hockey, they're playing, you know, 2 games back-to-back or 3 and 4 nights, different situations. But when they go on the road, they'll have long road trips. Baseball, you can have a team on the road. If it's a 2-city series, it's going to be, you know, a week. If it's a 3-city series, they're going to be on the road for 10 days. I like to look when they come back home. Everybody thinks, okay, this team came off the road. Let's jump on them that first game at home. That's the worst game, in my opinion, to jump on them, and here's why. They're human beings just like everybody. If you've been gone for a week and you come home, you've got a wife waiting for you at home, a girlfriend, your kids. They want your attention. And it disrupts the normal routine. I mean, I'm not saying you're not supposed to have a normal life, but you've been gone for a week. So that first day back home, you're not really focused on baseball, and you got to go right back out and play. I'll look to go against teams in that first game because you're going to be getting generally a road dog. And we all know that, especially in baseball, if you hit 50% and you're taking dogs, you're taking home a lot of money.
I like it. Now, football season is upon us, so can you give me some situations maybe in the NFL or college football that you like?
Yeah, people have to look at, and you've got to understand schedule dynamics and looking at a schedule. There's a 16-week schedule in the NFL. Those teams are not going to play at 100% for that entire schedule. Find the spots where the games mean something. And I'll start with my Pittsburgh Steelers. You have your teams, the Denver Broncos, you know, you have your favorite teams, you follow them a little bit extra close, and you know the rivalries and everything that goes on. The Steelers this year have 3 games on, I'm going to give you 6 games. They have New England, Jacksonville, Baltimore twice, and then they've got Tampa, Denver, and New Orleans. Now, of those 6 teams that I said, is Pittsburgh going to have the same intensity in all 6 of those games? No. The Baltimore games, we know, that to me is the best rivalry in the NFL. If you watch any of those games, they're bloodbaths.
They're always great games.
Okay. Then you go to New England, Pittsburgh and New England, it seems like they meet every year, either during the regular season or in the playoffs. In New England, unfortunately, has had the Steelers' number. We can't get past Belichick and get to the Super Bowl. So the Steelers know that that's the team they got to beat to go where they want to go. And then the Jacksonville game, well, Jacksonville ended their season. Why did they end their season? Because I think Pittsburgh was looking ahead to play in New England in the AFC Championship game last year, and he took Jacksonville for granted, fell behind by 21 points early, and couldn't catch up. It ended up being a great game, 45-42, I think was the final, but it's a game that the Steelers, they so drastically want back. So whenever they go to play those teams this year, you got to look at the game before or the game after because the Steelers are not going to be in the same mental state. And those are the other 3 teams that I mentioned, Tampa Bay, Denver, and New Orleans. I think you got great spots taking those teams against the Steelers. And that's schedule dynamics.
This is the stuff I live and die for. I love these situational type plays. Some of the other things that you're probably going to touch on, primetime games, flat spots, anything, injuries, stuff like that. There's so many situations where I think sometimes the market tends to overreact.
Well, people look, and we've had a couple of people do videos that talk about people, what they see is what's gospel to them. Okay, well, the TV games, first of all, are probably the toughest to bet because, you know, the Sunday night game, the Monday night game, it's NFL. Everybody knows everything about the NFL, and the lines are the tightest. It has the most action. You're going to have the market where it should be. So generally, they're not the most, you know, profitable games for you, but you can watch those games and use that game that week as a tool for next week. Because what's going to happen if one of those teams gets blown out? The public saw it, and in their mind, they've got two conclusions drawn immediately. Team A is super good, and Team B sucks. And that's the way they're going to look at things going into next week. I have a saying I like to say all the time is, no team is ever as good as their best game, nor are they ever as bad as their worst game. And when you have one of those drastic games where one team looks super bad and the other one looks super good, I'm going to look for the value next week because the odds maker knows what everybody just saw and they know who they're going to want to bet. So you're going to get a favorable number. You might get a point, maybe a point and a half more of value with that team that looked bad. And on the flip side, now to add to the extra points, they're professionals. They got embarrassed. You know they're going to have a good week of practice. You know the coaches are going to drill them that week, and they're going to come out with a good performance the next week. That's how you find value in the NFL.
Good stuff, Marco. I could sit here and just listen to you talk about situational plays all day. I know you've been doing this a really long time. Give these guys a little bit of heads up for some of your background and what you had planned for the season.
Well, all season long, we're going to do these. We're going to have where we'll talk about actual situations, maybe that's that week on the card. Bring them out and bring them to your attention. Because, you know, it's one thing to just say, hey, take this play. But if you teach people why, you know, then they can start spotting these angles themselves. And the whole goal is to make everybody a better. And that's what we're going to do with this series all year.
I love it. Guys, if someone does not have time or knowledge to handicap these games themselves, where can you get the plays? Obviously, at WagerTalk.com. I know that Marco has a special this season. Marco, I'm going to let you talk about your special, and then I'll close out this video.
This special goes 1 week. It goes to the end of the first week of preseason. We got the Hall of Fame game this week, but next week's the first full week. Take advantage. My full season all access. Every play I release for 12 months is $1,750. Use Marco 75, or excuse me, 750. Marco 750. You'll be able to take $750 off that. This week only get 12 months, $1,000. That's less than $3 a day.
That's a great deal, guys. As you know, Marco, one of the best in the business. As always, make sure you guys give these videos a thumbs up, share them with your friends, give them a like, and make sure you guys give Marco a little follow on Twitter at Marco in Vegas.